what it actually is you're selling your personal, it's your sale. An estate sale in your house is considered your sale. It's a glorified garage sale. I would agree with that. It really is. It's inside your home. It takes place, and it's all your personal property possessions that you're not taking with you, or your family has not claimed. And again, it represents the bulk of our business. On any given weekend, you can look up all the estate sales that are happening, and especially in the spring, summer, and fall, you can get up to 40 to 50 estate sales that are happening alone in the Denver metro area. That's a lot. So you think about the amount of homes that are being listed and sold right now. It's a hot market. That goes hand in hand with the estate liquidation process. It is the most effective and efficient way to reduce 40 years of stuff down in 2 days to hardly anything, and you walk away with thousands of dollars. It is absolutely the most effective. And like I said, it makes up the bulk of my business, and it makes up the bulk of all the other estate liquidators in town. Because the way that you sell your stuff, the way that you go from 40 years, here's your house of 40 years, right? And the way that you get rid of it is through an estate sale of 2 or 3 days, and people coming in, gone, 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 and here's what you're left with after 40 years. And at the same time, you're making money, and it's going away, right? And that's a huge benefit. And so the people the reason why you do that is because you get the mob of people in there. And mob may be a little, too excessive, but you get a tremendous amount of people over a 2 or 3 day period to come in, and you want lots of people, right? You want people who buy the books, and you want people who buy the antiques, and you want the people who buy, I always say this and they laugh, the socks and the underwear, and you have people who buy the cleaning supplies, and you have the people who buy the shovels and the rakes, and anything else that's in your house. So that's where we start, is the actual estate sale on site. That represents the bulk of the estate liquidation business. And here's why it is a turnkey process. In a matter of 2 weeks, an estate liquidator can come in, and once you've moved out, this process takes place once you've moved out, in a matter of 2 weeks, an estate liquidator can come in, sort and go through everything that's in your home. Let's just talk about the person that's lived in their house 50 years. You've got every nook and cranny probably full, because I've been in my house 5 years, and I know I have every nook and cranny full of everything. You have every cupboard full. You have your garage full. You have a shed full. You have every closet full. You have kitchen. You have, like I said, cleaning supplies. You have all of that stuff. And in 2 weeks, with 2 or 3 people, we can come in and we can sort, trash, organize. We can stage. We photograph. We price. We conduct an estate sale. We clean it out on the back end, and the house is completely empty for Blair to come in and list your house. It is a very, very effective and fast process. And the best thing about it is you don't have to do anything. All that stuff is actually meaningful to somebody else. I mean, it really is meaningful. And you would be amazed at the amount of people that will come in over a 2 or 3 day period and buy the socks, the underwear, the cleaning supplies, the used towels, the chemicals. You said it for yourself. People were just in a frenzy because we attract all kinds. We attract your neighbor who's like, I might need a couple shovels and rakes, and we're going to attract the dealers and the flippers and the resellers, which actually represents the bulk of the business, and they're coming in to buy those collectibles and those rare items that you might not thought that you have. And then over that period of time, it goes away, and you guys, you receive a check in the back end. So it's very, very efficient. The estate liquidation process is fast for payout also. So it makes up the bulk of the business. It's the best way to get rid of your items, and you receive a payment within 5 to 10 days. Very quick. In some cases sooner. It just depends if it falls on a holiday, if credit card settles, and things like that. So you move out in 2 weeks, and then a couple days later, you get payment. So it's effective. It's meaningful to you. We hire a licensed, bonded, insured green recycling company called Gone for Good here in town, and they will come in and they remove all of the remaining contents that did not sell. They take everything but hazardous chemicals. What they do then at that point is they're going to take them and they're going to do all the donation, and they usually use the Epilepsy Foundation. They're going to take it to the recycling center if it can be recycled. And anything that would have any minor perceived value, they will sell in their little thrift shop, and a portion of that goes back to the Epilepsy Foundation. So we find that to be a huge benefit. We love the idea that they're, supporting charity, and it cleans out your house. Yeah, we see about, on average, we have about 6,000 people who will view one of my sales online, because we'll talk about where we advertise in a little bit here. 6,000 people who will view it. And over a 2 to 3 day period, we will see about a fourth of those people who will come to the estate sale. And those people include, as we talked about, they're buyers, and they're serious buyers. And these are people who are putting down serious cash. We just had a Bonnie Bray estate sale, and in the first 2 hours, she grossed $5,900 in the first 2 hours. And that's what you want, again, right? We want all those buyers. But to the point, we're also looking at other buyers. And it is absolutely a true statement. I cannot tell you how many people, because of this market, because it is so difficult, even for first-time buyers, to get a property, they are coming through either with their realtors or their realtors are coming through, but buyers are coming through and they're looking at that property, right? Regardless of what's happening there. And they're turning around and calling their realtors. I mean, we always request the realtor information to be there, the business cards, we hand it out. So it's a win-win situation for you. You're attracting people in to buy all the stuff that's there, and you also are attracting potential buyers, which, I mean, it's a good thing, I guess. It's free exposure for these guys, and it's free exposure to you and your home. And hopefully you can sell really quick. The last thing is, you're making money off your property, it is taxable income. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that. But that's one of the number one questions we get when we do an interview. It's just like having a garage sale. I'm not sure how many of you know that when you have a garage sale, by law, you're supposed to turn in a form in the state of Colorado that you had garage sales. I know, isn't that funny? And you're supposed to say, here's all the garage sales I had, and here's how much money I made. I don't know how many people do it. But technically, and that's why you want to talk to your tax guy or financial guy, that it's income. And if you deposit a $10,000 check in your account, it's probably meaningful. So you probably want to get some advice on that. But it's also tax deductible.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, because everything that got picked up, right? Everything that didn't sell is going to charity. And you're going to get a donation slip from the Epilepsy Foundation for that. We'll talk about in detail how you're going to get that information in a minute. And then you'll be able to deduct that if you do deductions on your taxes. So you have a tax liability and you have a tax benefit. So very clear, with estate liquidations, you have both. Your third option for estate liquidation is buyout. And we actually do this frequently. Emily knows this. A buyout, again, is beneficial for you folks who apartment, townhome, HOA rules, privacy concerns, right? It's not great for an entire household. A buyout is for a limited amount of items. You have that small collectible, right? You have your small items of collectibles, and you may have some other stuff, or you may have a lot. your small stuff. Hey, it might make more sense based off your timing, what you're taking, the quality and quantity of what's left, just to sell it right out, right? Sell it to, we do buyouts, or we bring in buyers. And Emily's absolutely correct. I have 1,600 people in my database. It's growing a little bit every single time we have a sale. And out of that, the top tier, 100 people, those are those serious buyers, right? Those are those folks that are dropping $500, $1,000, and we know what they buy. And we know they're either antiques or art dealer or rugs or tchotchkes or Rosenthal or whatever it might be. And there are times that I'm at a client's house and I will call them, text them a picture, and then I'll connect them directly with you. And I'm not paid. You don't pay me. You just get connected and you guys do your transaction and then you move on. And it could be multiple people that I'm sending your way. I think some of your clients, I've sent 2 or 3 people out, to get in there to buy whatever it might be, and then it helps reduce. You guys get some money, and then, you move on, do a clean out on the back end. So hugely beneficial, in my opinion. So how we appraise, I mentioned this a little bit, and this is consistent with the majority of the market that appraises. We are members. Well, let me go back. You've all seen Antiques Roadshow, right? Mm-hmm. And you know when their appraisers are on their iPad? Okay, that's the same manner how we research. It's an online resource. You can buy, we pay a membership yearly, and what it does, it goes out and it pulls in, it aggregates everything that's sold of a particular item. So we have this piece here, right? And if I'm researching it, I go to my site, and it will pull up this piece that's sold everywhere online for the past, I can go back as far as I want, right? And then it will filter, I can filter by state, I can filter where, I can filter by what auction house, I can do all that filtering, and then that's how we can back into what the reality of that price is, right? The sold value of that. So that's how we appraise items. Now when we have rare items that we cannot appraise, or we shouldn't be appraising, because a liquidator should not be selling everything in an estate sale. Steinway pianos, we've had many clients with those. Absolutely not. Would we ever sell those in an estate sale? It would do it injustice. We call Steinway in. We actually call Steinway down. They take care of it, and they take it off-site and work with the client directly. Clocks. Most clocks we can appraise, but then we get into the extremely rare clocks, 200 or 300 years, we'll call a clock appraiser in. My estate sale in Bonnie Bray, I called in a rug appraiser because we had extremely rare Turkish and Persian rugs. I'm not an expert on those, I don't know that. So yes, we appraise. I'm not a certified appraiser, but we appraise using the same methodology as the appraisers do. And then if I can't, I'll call in an appraiser. Here's the thing about charity. Do not wait. If you're going to be selling your home in the near future, don't wait until you get a contract and you've got to move 3 days later, because they are on a 2 to 3 week turn time, right? And depending on how much you have and depending on where you live, they're on a call rotation. So it could take up to 3 weeks for them to get out to pick up one sofa. So I highly encourage you, if you want to start doing some charity donation, you call now and get on their schedule and kind of time it just right for whatever your purpose is, if, kind of getting it into your timeline of moving, or if you're just starting to downsize the process, give it ample time. You can't call them and they come out tomorrow. And that is, it provides a little bit of difficulty in our world because, as I explained, we're trying to get the house cleaned out very quickly so Blair can get it on the market. I can't wait for charity to come out 3 weeks later after my estate sale. So we use the clean out service, but you want to plan proper time if you're going to use charity. I'm going to come in and I'm going to meet with you, and I encourage your family to be there because things get lost in translation sometimes. So we love it if you can have your children there or any other family members. We love it. So we're all kind of hearing it. If you can't, we totally understand. Kids are dispersed across the country, but I will tell you, your children tell you they don't want anything. They do. Yeah. The second an estate liquidator gets involved, they're like, oh, I want everything.
But I wanted that.
But they're not going to come out and get it. Take it from experience. If they're living across country, they will not. So they're going to say they don't want anything, then they're going to say they want something. I say this out of experience. I mean, I've been like this with my mother-in-law. And then when the time comes that you have to do something, they don't want to get involved. So get with your kids now. And if they can be part of the conversation, we love that. If not, encourage them to be part of the process somehow, right? So when we're out there educating them, you can walk them through what this process is going to be like. Meaning, I'm going to donate to charity, I'm going to sell stuff off, I'm going to recycle it, all those types of things. So they know they can come get the china, they want to get the china. So we're going to come out, we're going to do an assessment, I'm going to have a discussion with you. It's free, we don't charge any fees, and it lasts anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. So you want to plan accordingly for the process will be. Then, once we know that you guys are interested, we're going to start coordinating with everybody involved. We're going to coordinate with the Steller Group. We're going to say, hey, here's the deal. We're going to do an estate sale for them, and we're going to start coordinating around their time frame. Because again, we want to be sensitive about when the house gets on the market, if they're going to have to do updates. So we're going to do the coordination for you, make sure the timing is right. Then we're going to have a contract. Every estate liquidator, if it's an auction house or an on-site liquidator, should have a contract. Our contract, everything that we've just talked about this estate liquidation process, that's what's in it. It's complete transparency about what we do and what we don't do, a part of the estate liquidation process. You want a contract. Do not hire the guy down the street with a truck. Because you want to make sure what's going to happen if they damage your walls. What's going to happen for theft? What's going to happen? You want a binding agreement. When are you going to get paid? How much are you going to get paid? You want a binding agreement. You don't want a verbal transaction. You want something that's actually in writing. Then the process starts. You guys have moved out. We're talking about the ideal situation. You have moved out. You turned off the lights, and I'm going to come in with my family, and we're going to have at it. We're going to go through every nook and cranny. We're going to open up every cupboard. We're going to open up every box. We're going to get into everything, and I'm going to start digging all that stuff out. I'm going to trash everything that needs to be trashed, which there are just stuff in your house that needs to go in the trash. I'll put it in trash bags, and I'll leave it out for your trash carrier to pick it up. Then I'm going to start to sort and stage. I'm going to bring in all my own tabletops. I'm going to utilize all your surface tops that I can. I'm going to start to get things out of cupboards that are way high because I don't want people reaching up really high. And I want to make sure I move furniture around because you know how you have that cattle situation? I don't want that. I want to make sure that we have a nice shopping environment. So I'm going to start moving around your furniture, and I could even be moving around from rooms to room. We get mattresses off the bed sometimes, so we lean them up against the wall to make more room. So I want a nice shopping experience, and I also want to make sure it's really safe and secure. So your house sometimes can look totally different. Emily knows that. I mean, it looks totally different. And sometimes we get things out. We want to get things out and display them, right? I want to make sure that they're displayed and people are interested in buying them. Because after I go through that process, then I'm going to photograph. This is a competitive market. I told you we could have like 50 sales on a weekend. I want those people to come to my sale, your sale. So I want to take really good photographs of everything, which means sometimes I do take pictures of everything. There are times on my website, there's 300 pictures out there of everything. Even the little smallest thing, somebody might be coming to the sale for. So I try to get a picture of just about everything. After I photograph, we price. So we take about 2 to 3 days to price. We're going to research and price. We have price guns with orange stickers, and I use big starbursts, colored starbursts to do furniture. We price about 90% of everything in your home. About the 10% is what we call categories. And those are the items that are like forks and spoons, socks and underwear, towels. We call them category items, and we usually put signs up that say like 2 for $1 or 4 for $1. After I price, we advertise. We advertise for about 4 to 5 days because we want to generate enough interest so we can get people if you need to take time off of work or what have you. And we're going to advertise on multiple places. We'll advertise on my website. We advertise on our 2 Facebook pages. We advertise on our Twitter account. We advertise on Craigslist. We love Craigslist. We advertise with signage, right? So signage on the street and signage on the house. We send out a private email to 1,600 people that are in my database. So they get a special invite email that comes out. And we, word of mouth, right? So just generally when our sales are coming up, and word of mouth that we promote that every single sale. Hey, here's what's coming up. That exposure to advertising is where I get that 6,000 people looking at every sale. 6,000 people will view it, and about half of that, a fourth of that, to a half will come in. Now, we also advertise on estatesales.net. That is a website that is nationwide, and at any given time you can type in an address or a zip code, and it will pull up all of the estate sales in that given region or that exact zip code. And that feeds out locally here in Denver to about 35 to 40,000 people. So that's broad exposure, right? That's massive broad exposure, and that's what I want. That's why I want to take great pictures of your stuff, and I want to encourage and promote the excitement for your sale. After that, we conduct the sale, and depending on how much you have, it's a 2 to 3 day sale. We've never done 4-day sales. Average, we usually do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday. Sundays are really horrible days to do estate sales, especially during Bronco season. No one shows up. So we do Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Saturday. And you might be wondering, that's crazy, people work. Remember who's coming to the sale. The dealers, the pickers, the resellers, that's their job. So they're driving around all during the week going to the estate sales so they can take all their stuff and get it online for the weekend or put it in their store. So we try to cater. We're catering to the people who spend a lot of money at the sales. And typically Saturdays are half price day. It's the last day, and that's what's remaining after a 3-day sale. Should be half price. You want it to go out the door. Monday after the sale is the clean out. I've already prearranged. I've scheduled that. I just sent Gone for Good my scheduled contract estate sale list are ready through June. So he's ready. We have that pre-scheduled. He knows when he's going to be out there. We have it prearranged. He will be out there. We are there with him and his crew. He cleans out the property. Within about 2 to 5 days after that, we reconcile everything and we get you a check. Now I'm going to track everything I sell. You're going to get 2 inventory reports after the sale. You're going to get an inventory report of everything that sold, and you're going to get an inventory report of everything that didn't sell. I do it by category. So it's going to be furniture, books, china, clothes. It'll be by category. You'll have a descriptive name, and you'll see a value of $50 or higher. If it's sold at $50, you'll see a value. If it's sold under $50, those are typically the category items, right? Forks, spoons, things like that are the category items, and things that sell at $50 or higher, you will see a dollar amount on there. Your unsold inventory report will just be the descriptions, couches, end tables, clothes, things like that. That unsold inventory list is what you're going to use for that charity donation slip. You'll attach that, and then that's what you'll use to write off on your taxes. You're also going to receive a 1-page summary from me. It's a 1-pager, and it breaks down each day's sales. So if we have a 3-day sale, it will say day 1, day 2, day 3, and it will show gross, cash, and credit. Then you'll see the clean-out fee right underneath that, and then at the very bottom, it will be the net proceeds paid out to you and commissions paid to us. So it's just kind of a 1-page statement that you can see all the activity that's taken place with all the sales and all the fees. And behind that, you'll get a roll-up of the credit cards. So if we do 3 days of credit, you'll see that statement of credit for the 3 days. And then you'll get the Gone for Good paid invoice. So I'm going to pay it. And again, that's going to be the fee on your summary. It's going to be a debit from you and a credit back to us. You'll get that. We do not mark up those charges. So it is exactly what Gone for Good charges. I pay it, and then you just give me a credit. It's a debit and a credit situation. And then anything else that would be involved with the estate sale as far as paperwork, you'll get a nice little package with check or cash, however you want to be paid out. And that's a 2-week process. But my husband and I, we are both corporate people. We came out of the corporate world, both in financial services. I was an executive officer for a financial company for a very long time. My husband worked for Lehman Brothers, if y'all remember Lehman, before they got taken down. And about 5 years ago, we decided to turn a hobby into a business. So we've been doing this about 15 years, 5 years as an LLC. We actually got into the estate liquidation business because of our family, very similar to what you guys are going through. My husband's family had to downsize very, very quickly. We were working executives. We didn't know what to do. We were confronted with this immediate, abrupt, they have to move. We couldn't seek out any resources. It was just very frustrating. So we did the whole process ourselves. Of course, we didn't sell the house, but we helped them liquidate, we helped them move, and we helped them unpack. And I think some of you have probably come to Lynn's presentation about the downsizing process, right? Well, our family, Mark's family, and my husband's family, had been in their home for 40 plus years, just like some of you guys have. So enormous amount of stuff, and compounded with all those emotions of what was going on. And we were family. So I can tell you, I can stand up here and tell you I have empathy for what you guys are going to be confronted with. We've been through it. And I have been through it multiple times since then with family members. So that's how it started the process. We lived in a very old neighborhood. And after they found out this is what we did for our family, I mean, it was just nonstop. People were asking us to do similar things for them. And then when my husband lost his job with Lehman Brothers in about 2008, we made a decision that I would continue working and he would try to kind of do this on the side, still as a hobby. And I went to Scottsdale, recruited by Nationwide, and when I came back from Scottsdale 5 years ago, I decided to quit cold turkey, the corporate world, and this is what we've been doing for 5 years. So 15 years all in, 5 years at LLC. And we have been incredibly grateful for the fact that we've been able to partner with the Steller Group. We've known Emily and Conrad for a very long time and helped their clients. But they did it for me too. That's right. I did it for Emily's family.
Yeah.
That's right. So we work very closely with realtors. We work very closely with the retirement centers in town. We work very closely with the move coordinators. So some of you saw Lynn Duesenberg speak with the movers, and then word of mouth. Right, my neighbor. Or you guys come to a presentation and then our name gets out there. So we work independently, but we do partner very, very close with any other service provider that you may be hiring when you're kind of going down that path of selling your house.